Hey there, once again, welcome to my studio. I hope you guys have been making art, having a good time. I know you can't get out much. We all are kind of stuck at home right now. I'm fortunate that I have my studio that I can escape to, so I spend a lot of time out here. I hope that you are able to at least enjoy some of the weather out there, maybe in your backyard or on your porch or something like that. I hope you're keeping yourself busy, not getting too bored. My grandma used to tell me that uh, uh, boredom is a choice. And at first, when I was young, I didn't know what that meant, but it means that you can choose to get into things and be curious and be creative, or sit around and mope and not do anything. And I chose many years ago to try to never be bored. So you guys need to try to do the same thing too. I'm glad you're here today. Today we're going to be working in some basic um, art projects. Um, the name of this show today is The Shape of Things. Um, I think a lot of young people have problems, especially when you're just starting out as an artist, um, trying to draw things um, that are really maybe kind of difficult to do. Even the simplest things can be difficult if you've never done them before. And so today we're going to talk about how we can draw better. How do we draw better the things that we already draw, that we already really love to draw, uh, and try to make them better, make them draw a little better. And so that's what we're going to do today. And the reason we're talking about the shape of things is that I don't care if it's a ninja monkey or a dinosaur or the house across the street or flying reptiles. I don't know, dinosaurs or dragons. Um, they're all built on basic shapes. Um, Sometimes I see young people and adults too, they'll try to draw, let's say, a dog. And the first thing that they'll do is kind of draw the eyes. And then they'll try to draw the head around the eyes. And then they'll go and they'll try to draw the back of the dog. And sometimes I think you can get caught up uh, drawing that way because you're trying to draw a big thing, a complete thing, but you're starting out on a bunch of little details first. I always try to tell my students that try to get the whole picture first, meaning get the whole dog. Sketch out the whole dog, and then once you get that whole dog kind of drawn loosely, right? It's not perfect. Then you go in and you reshape the ears, or you reshape the nose, and then you put in your eyes. And so, getting back to the basic shapes of things, I kind of drew some basic shapes that we all know. We all know these shapes: uh, squares, circles, triangles, rectangles, um, egg shapes, oval shapes, football shapes, diamonds. These are all the basic shapes, and these are just a few of them. There's many more. But if you think in terms of everything that you want to draw, you can draw from these shapes. Now, I know that may sound a little weird, and in a minute I'm going to illustrate what I'm talking about because I'm going to be drawing some stuff for you. But I just want you to keep that in mind. Let's say you're sitting in a room right now, and it's maybe your living room or your kitchen or your bedroom or something, and look over and really look at that lamp or that bed or that toy or that electronic gadget. Look at it and try to think about the basic shape that it's in. Let's say A television, you look at the television, you try to draw the television. This is a pretty easy one. It's like a big rectangle. It's a rectangle. Um, so instead of drawing the picture on the television first, you draw that rectangle. Well, okay. From the rectangle, you've got the screen, but what about how is it? Is it standing on something? What's that basic shape of what that television is standing on? Well, it might be a real skinny rectangle, a smaller skinny rectangle. The buttons, maybe that are on it, they're round. So I just want you to try to think in terms of everything that you draw. If you think of them in their original basic shape, it makes it so much easier for you to do. Or that's been my experience. And I teach this kind of technique in all of my classes, and most kids tell me that it really kind of helps them. It's hard to, when you look at something in nature and you're trying to, sometimes it can be really overwhelming. Sometimes it's hard to do. Uh, but if you can break it down into its basic shapes, it becomes so much easier. Now I want to show a couple of pictures that I pulled out of the internet to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, let's say here's one right here. Here's a ninja. I know a lot of the young men I work with, they love ninjas. Okay, when you look at that picture, what's the basic shapes? Well, let me see. I would say the head is a circle. The legs are rectangles to the knee and then another rectangle down the leg. Same thing with the arms. It starts here. The arm is a rectangle here. Now it's rounded, right? But don't worry about that now. It's a rectangle here and another rectangle here. And then maybe some triangles down here. Some long triangles. Very simple stuff. How about a robot? Now this one's easy, guys. I mean, you can see the basic shapes in this robot. Here is what? It's a circle. Down here, it's a triangle. Look at that. It's almost a perfect triangle, right? Down here, there's kind of a potato shape here, you know, kind of a fat oval. There's another fat oval right here. There's another fat oval here and over here. And the same thing with the arms. The arms, here's a rectangle, right? This is a rectangle here. Same thing here. Rectangle, rectangle. Here's a circle right here. My point is that when you look at something, instead of going, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do that, what you really need to do is you need to break it down to its basic shapes and then draw those shapes. And again, I'm going to be drawing some stuff to let you know what I'm talking about. Let me see what else I've got here. How about unicorn head? Love unicorn heads. Okay, let's break that down to its basic shapes. Well, first of all, I would say that this is kind of a triangle here, right? It's a triangle. And over here, it's kind of a square, right? It's kind of a square there. And then you've got this really long rectangle over here. See that? So if you start drawing and you make your triangle here, and then put a box shape right here, you know, to make that neck, and then you put another rectangle down to make the body. Those are the basic shapes of this picture. Now, of course, the ears are more triangular, right? We got some triangles here, and of course, the unicorn horn is a real long, skinny triangle. see. Let me give you another one. How about, okay, you guys, this is one of my favorite. Ta-da! A T-Rex. Okay, guys, what do you think? What's the basic shapes here? Well, first the head. Oh my God. It's a big circle, or almost it's a giant potato shape. A potato shape or a round shape. The body itself is kind of a rectangle. See? It's a rectangle. This here is a long, skinny triangle. Down here, more rectangles, more rectangles. Down here, they're almost triangles, right? Break it down to the basic shapes. I got one more. Teddy. Now, Teddy's an easy one. Teddy is almost all circles, right? You've got the head as a circle, right? The ears are circles. The ears are circles. These are kind of rectangles here, but there's circles on the end. The body itself is like a big circle, right? Same thing. Circle here, little circle here. Even the face. The face is two eyes, which are circles. The nose and the mouth, right here, this round thing, that's so it's breaking them down to its basic shapes. I really believe can help you draw something a little bit better. Okay, so let me get off for right now. I got to move the camera around a little bit, and then when we come back, I'm going to do some drawing. I'm going to show you how easy all of this is. Okay, we're back right now. All you need for this project is some paper and pencil. That's it. We can, if we have time, we will do some coloring and maybe doing some shading. But right now, I'm just trying to get you to just try this technique. And the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to do and this is the simplest ones, and that is that teddy bear. Okay, I said it was all circles, right? Well, watch this. In fact, let me use a marker. I think I'm going to use a marker. Again, the circles don't need to be perfect, right? And then I'm going to put one here, one circle. I think I'm going to do is put another circle here. Now the body is a circle, but it's much bigger than the head, right? So again, this is more like a potato or an egg shape. That's okay too. See the picture? You know that on the face there is that round white, that white area where the nose was? I'm going to put a circle right here. See? And where's that nose? You got to put a nose on it. I think I'll mark that nose in. Okay? Now the arms, remember the arms were real kind of rectangle. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a rectangle, but we're going to make them round at the end. We're going to make another rectangle, but instead of making them square, we're going to make them round at the end. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another circle right here. And another circle right here. Now, what about the legs? The same thing. We can make them like long rectangles like that, maybe a little bigger, but round them off, right? Put another circle here. Gotta scoot this over a little bit. Do the same thing. We're going to round them off. Make a circle here. Okay, got it. Okay. And then needs eyes. And really the only thing on this thing that isn't a circle is kind of mouth. And how I do the mouth is from the nose, I put it a straight line, and then I put a smile on it. Now, if it's a girl, a teddy bear, you could put a big old bow in the hair, right? If it's a boy, here, let me go ahead and make his belly. There we go. If it's a boy, you could put a big bow tie right here. Easy, easy stuff. Now, let's do something else. Maybe something a little bit more difficult. Not really that difficult, but a little bit more difficult. Uh-oh, losing my machine here. Hold on, I'll be right back. Here we go. I had to fix something. Anyway, I'm going to do a dinosaur. I don't know about you. I know most of you guys out there like dinosaurs. I've got a couple of young ladies in my class that love dinosaurs. But dinosaurs, when I was a kid, I loved dinosaurs. And so I'm going to make a real simple, one of my favorite dinosaurs was a brontosaurus. Now keep in mind, these are cartoons. These are not like realistic depictions of these animals. That is another art class altogether. But how I see it is that a brontosaurus, the body is kind of like a potato. It's kind of not a circle, right? It's not a football or an eye, but kind of like a potato, right? Okay. Now, next, you need a neck. And so the neck is a really long rectangle. Right? Now keep in mind when you're doing that, you can go ahead and erase this stuff when you're finished, right? Okay, the head, I would say the head is kind of like a circle. Or again, this is really, really simple stuff, you guys. Here, same thing. It's a rectangle, but at the end it kind of turns into a triangle because it goes to a point. And so you've got this, right? And I like to curve mine up a little bit. Here we go. The legs, especially on a brontosaurus, they're like actually really sharp rectangles. Watch this. Got one here. Got one here. There's one back on the other side, so I'm going to make it look like it's on the other side, right? But from there, what you can do is you can go in, and I know this is going to be kind of sloppy here, but you go in and you can change it a little. You can make it look more realistic. There we go. So truly, that's really what I'm trying to get you to think about is when you draw something, now, hey, if you already know, I mean, I've got kids in my classes that are way beyond me. I mean, they can draw Tyrannosaur, T-Rexes and raptors and all those kinds of things. But for you guys who are just starting out, this is a real easy way to get the basic shapes down. And if I used a marker, but if you use pencils, you can um, erase. Like you can erase these lines here and erase these lines here. Now, one thing I like to do, here you've got a brontosaurus, so to speak, but watch this. It's so easy to create. What am I creating? I'm creating a dragon with wings. Keep in mind these are triangles right here. These are they're kind of rounded triangles, right? But then what I've done, what I've done is I've pointed these like that. That is that. Pretty easy. Um, a, a dragon usually has a bigger nose on it, like this, and it's got fire coming out of its mouth. This is something that you can do. Any level of artist, whether you're just starting out or whether you are more seasoned and you kind of really know what to do, uh, this is something that is um, something that I know that you can do. I work with third and fourth and fifth grade, and these things that I'm teaching you are just basic stuff that you can use later on in this and other pictures that you do. Uh, one of the I first started thinking about these shapes situations. There is an artist that is a very, very famous artist, probably one of the most famous artists in the world, a contemporary artist. His name's Pablo Picasso. You probably heard of him. And he went through a period of time where all of his artwork, he started out as a realistic painter, meaning that everything kind of really looked like not a photograph, but like he was trying to get real close to drawing and painting things that looked exactly like what he was trying to draw. And then what he did is that he started breaking down his pictures into its basic shapes. And actually, it's those paintings that he is most recognized for. They became very simple. Another painter at the time, his name was Henri Matisse. He did the same thing. He used to do kind of realistic artwork, and as he got older, he started simplifying. And so instead of like uh, this is just a sketch to go for, he would make his pieces really large and color them in different ways. Matisse is one of my favorite um, artists. He he used all really wonderful colors in his work um, that that are just beautiful, beautiful and striking. There's a lot of artists that break it down. It's not quite what I'd call abstract art, art that doesn't mean anything, it's just colors and shapes. Uh, they told stories, but they told them in very, very simple ways. It amazes me sometimes that some of the kids that I have that I work with, they will create what looks like masterpieces of very famous artists. I just find it very, very interesting how that works. That here are these young people that are creating this stuff all on their own, and I look down at it and I go, "Why, that looks like a Picasso," or "That looks like a Marc Chagall," or "That looks like a Rauschenberg. There's so many artists that kind of take that they when they start out real young, this is what the artwork looks like, and as they get older, they're trying to get it to look more realistic and this kind of thing. And as they get older, they kind of go back to what they were doing when they were kids. And so never think that what you are doing right now um, can't be good, can't be great, because it can be. I think it would be silly to think that, oh, I can't draw like Billy is at the next day, or I can't, draw like Mr. Paul, or I can't draw this, draw that. I think the most important thing for any young artist is just to do it. They say that about sports. You just, like, just do it. And I agree that that's the way to if you draw because you love to do it, if you love to do something, you'll do it all the time. And if you do it all the time, you're going to get better. And so if you don't really like to draw, then you won't be doing it all the time, and you just kind of will get stuck in kind of doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I tell you what, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're a creative person like me, I realized as a very young guy that I'd probably be doing this for the rest of my life. And I work with young people when they're 9, 10, 11, that tell me, I think I'm probably going to be doing this for the rest of my life. If you're one of those kind of people, then practice. Just do it. Try this technique. It's not for everybody. It can only help you to a certain point. But these little tips that I'm going to be giving you in these videos are just things that I worked through when I was a young person and a young artist that helped me get to another stage, uh, a more a better stage in what I was trying to communicate. Because art is communicating. It's a form of communicating. So I'm about to wrap things up here. Again, I want to thank you for coming out and bearing with me. I'm learning how to do these videos, so I hope I didn't bore you too much. But hopefully they'll get a little better as I get along. And I would love for you to come along with me on this journey with me. I'm going to be putting out 2 videos once a week for the foreseeable future. And so, when you're not doing anything or kicking back and feel like you want to do something creative or something, look me up, and we can do something different, that'll be different next time. I think that we're going to get into some painting next week. So, anyway, again, take care, be safe, stay healthy. Try to enjoy the sun as much as you can because it's gorgeous outside. In fact, it's actually hot. And I will hopefully see you next week. Take it easy. Bye.